Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Married at First Sight, Season 18. Where are they now? If you are new here, then welcome. You're late. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share with a friend. Hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, child, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. Listen, we are not going to be here long. I'm going to give you guys the cliff notes, okay? Because, I mean, if we've seen one thing, we've seen it all. But y'all know I'm still a little bit long-winded, so it might be just a little bit of detail. 13 months after decision day. MM and Brandon. So child, he done made himself comfortable. It's been 1 year since he bamboozled her. Brandon is speaking his speech in the kitchen. She says he's the best partner, but you know, it was hard to trust him at first, but he made it easy. Now, she says he's officially divorced, and of course she is not. So now they're prepping for a ceremony. Meanwhile, she's still married. Child, this is a mess. Pastor Cal has agreed to do the commitment ceremony. I mean, it appears that they have the same type of energy. I'm still not trusting him as far as I can throw him, and I can't pick him up, so I don't trust him. But I was looking at the view in MM's place, and that man ain't going nowhere. He ain't going no damn where. David and Madison Tiffany. Speaking of men who live in their women's place, David and Madison are at the apartment, and of course they're talking about Michelle. Would you guys give it a rest? My God. If all of y'all are so-called happy, then move the hell on. Why do y'all keep bringing this lady up every 2 seconds? So they're talking about, are you okay with seeing Michelle? And child, she don't give a damn what y'all got going on. So they're talking about seeing her at MM's commitment ceremony. Then they talk about David seeing her family. Apparently, she hasn't told her dad that he lives there, but I don't understand why, because didn't he say go for it? He said go for the gusto. So why haven't you told him yet? It's looking like a lie. Moving forward. David says she's the woman of his dreams. Okay. So they sit down. They're talking over breakfast and ponytails. And she's telling him that she may not want to stay in the Chi. She doesn't know what she wants to do. He doesn't care as long as he's not on the lease. It's always something. Child, this is a mess. She says she doesn't know what she did to deserve this level of love, but she's happy. So she's telling him that she didn't like the way that David was treated by Michelle, but she feels like he deserves an apology, and he's always so strong, so he's not going to ask for one. Girl, didn't you treat Alan the exact same way? Ain't that the pot calling the kettle calling the pot calling the kettle? Just because you pretended does not mean you were nice. I mean, I guess, honey, but David was playing a character. He'll be fine. And yes, she said certain things to him, but he was already plotting to move in on you. So therefore, and thus and such, I don't give a damn. Now, I personally don't think that any of them ever need to speak again, but maybe that's just me. Alan. So he went to meet up with his friends. They go out, they sit down for a minute. They want to know his feelings about the whole thing. He's explaining to them that he was, apparently the only one trying. But the first week that they moved in, David was moving in on Madison. So it had been going on as soon as they got back to the shared apartment. That's exactly what we all thought. Yet she's still seeking apologies on David's behalf. Girl gone. They want to know if this has changed him in the way that he feels about love. It did not. Now, I like that his friends are sitting with him and supporting him. I really did like that. They asked some really good questions. I'm glad that it appears now that he's happy with his new love. So let's just move on. Carla and Michelle. So they've bonded over the marriages that didn't work. And I guess Carla is out of the public storage. I'm just playing. I like Carla, honey, but y'all need to laugh a little, child. Y'all got so serious under that last review. I was like, what is happening here? Child, this is a fool. So Michelle came over to talk and gossip about the reunion. They both feel that everyone was cordial, but side note, I like that crochet sweater that you're wearing. It's really nice, girl. So they sit down, they're sipping some wine on this white couch. They start discussing. Carla moved into her place in June. That's what she said. They started talking about what they would change as far as, how they came across on camera. Michelle said that she would change the way that she acted because looking at herself was cringe. And I am so happy that she acknowledges that. But I really do think that Michelle has grown. It's something about turning 40, honey, that makes you a grown up. So I really do think that she has grown. Michelle said people slide into her DMs all the time and tell her, you need to change. And she's like, I know. So she definitely knows that she needs to change some things. Honey, I'm surprised she even answered them DMs because y'all would look at them things like I ain't even see them. Moving forward. I actually don't mind Michelle, and I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't. I love a straight shooter. Honey, give it to me straight. Now, do I like her delivery? Absolutely not. Do I think she's a horrible person? I do not. I just think that she's in her head and the way that she came across is who she is. But girl, like, relax. You could have said no at the end during decision day, but her discernment was on point. She realizes the error of her ways and she's moved on. And you know what? It's so funny to me that people can now accept the married at first sight cheaters, but they cannot accept her apology and her owning up to what she did and the way that she did wrong. That is just so hypocritical to me. So everybody now all of a sudden, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm not even mad at Madison and David no more. I mean, they found love. But when Michelle says, I did the wrong thing, I apologize, I shouldn't have spoken to him like that, I realized it was cringe. You never cared about him. You only cared about, like, what are you okay? Like, are you okay? So y'all can forgive the cheaters, but not Michelle who got cheated on. Okay. Thomas and Camille. So they go to his brother's house. Baby, Camille was making Thomas over to look like Tim, honey. She wanted him to match that brother. Because I was looking at that brother. I said, this is exactly who she wanted him to be. And you know she hang out with Madison, so you better watch her, Thomas. But, brother, as y'all were sitting down at the table, shout out to Tim. I heard you call Thomas Swaggy T. Listen, opinionated family, we are making a mark, okay? He definitely watched these reviews, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you because Swaggy T originated over here. Y'all know. So I was just so proud of it. I said, baby, not Swaggy T. And then Camille said, he's all the way through the roof on the Swagometer. Child, I'm so happy this is going to be the last time I got to hear about that damn Swagometer. So they sit down, they start talking about Camille having kids. Now, Camille wants to work on her career and things like that first before she has children. Now, what I didn't appreciate is Tim trying to clock her biological clock. Don't do that. Talking about, you don't have forever to have kids, but you have forever to work on your career. Excuse you, get out of her uterus. Please don't put that type of pressure on a woman. Because it's already bad enough that we feel like we have to do all these things because of the timeline that everybody puts on us. And then you put the pressure on her to hurry up and do it because she's not going to have enough time later on. Please don't do that. Okay? Now don't piss me off. So Thomas's brother Tim pulled him to the side because he wants to get the real. Okay, let me take you away from Camille so I can see what's going on. Thomas is telling him that they're working on things and he's waiting to get to that super lovey-dovey phase. So Tim is like, what? Y'all not getting it in? She ain't giving you none? Child, it took her forever to put on that old lady lingerie. So I don't know. Now, Thomas said that they are, but he's not at the I can't live without you feeling. Now, his brother wanted to know if he sees forever with her. And he says, yeah, I'm working on that. Uh-oh. Thomas, sir. Now, he's saying that there is no passion. And I think reality has set in for Thomas. Thomas, now, this may be a pattern for you. Because so much was going on during the season, but I clocked it at the reception and I didn't forget. Okay, I didn't forget that you were in a 9-year relationship that you abandoned and you cheated on the woman. Now you're sitting here after a year saying that you don't feel the passion with Camille and you're trying to get there for forever. Baby, she gonna eat you alive. When I tell you she gonna pin you down in one of them wrestling moves, she gonna fit his ass down. You're done. You're done, buddy. Ikechi. Child, the whole mood just shifted. He's on a video chat with his other bald brother, and he's talking to him about the reunion and how the men were cool and how they showed up to his art exhibit. He didn't really get to know the men at the time because he was too busy running away from MM, but he doesn't really know that many people up there, so he was happy that they actually showed up for him. And that's probably because you moved there just for this show, and you ain't fooling me. Now, he's asking his brother how his kids are doing. And he's like, well, I thought I was going to be first. And the fact that you have 2 children, like, that's just wild. But then he starts going on this rant about how he's taking his time. He's not dating anyone. Sir, why are you acting like you went through a marriage where you actually participated? I don't get it. You were MIA as soon as y'all came back to the CHI. So I really don't, child. Anyway, he's going to see a divorce attorney so MM can move on with that smooth operator that she's with. So apparently Juan and Carla are getting into business together. That's all he wanted, was a business partner and an investor, and he ain't fooling me. Steady talking all over that damn internet. So they're creating Juancho's Ponchos. After those last few video posts, Juancho's Ponchos is probably a sole proprietorship, okay, and not a joint venture. Because the way that things were going up on a Tuesday, I do not think it's happening. So Juan shows up unprepared because he's not taking it seriously, but he does have a logo ready. And you know what? It's so crazy to me because at this meeting, it seems like Carla is the more business-minded one and Juan is the one that's playing all damn day long. And you didn't want to get married because she wasn't business-minded and she had a lot of things that she needed to work on, which she debunked. But then you turn around and get into business with her? Okay. Now, Juan has lied about more than a few things, according to Carla in a recent interview. So for me, this is giving faking for the cameras. Now, he said his new girl does lashes. Doesn't Carla do hair as well? Okay. I don't even have time, child. I don't know what is going on. I don't know what's happening, but it's a lot more to the reason why Juan was not interested in Carla than meets the eye. I feel like Juan just wanted exposure. Now, I still stand by the fact that he came on here and he's an opportunist, but maybe that's just me. Moving forward. So he goes to see an attorney, but doesn't the show handle the divorces? And why does the attorney look just like Rachel from the Houston season? You know, the one that Jose was Joseing all over when he locked her out of that damn apartment. She looks just like Rachel. Now, that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. But she's asking how they got there. And, child, it's the woe is me, tiny violin moment of it all. I was like, sir, just tell her because you don't want to be around. Now, he's filming with this attorney. Now, this is just my opinion. I feel like he's filming with this attorney just to be on camera because he's the only one with nobody else to film with. That's what it gave me. The attorney wants to know, is it contested or uncontested? He says she's not going to put up a fight. Then he sits here and tries to make it seem like MM was a cheater or something, talking about, she's engaged. The attorney said, while she's married? Yes, ma'am. This whole situation is a fool. While she's married. She had one person that couldn't stand to see her success and the other person who's draining her dry and leeching off of her because of her success. So, yeah, she's engaged, child. But why did it look like Ikechi wanted to cry when he was talking to this attorney? Suck it up, Buttercup. Moving forward. The Swappers. So the Swappers go for a game night at Thomas and Camille's place. Thomas talking about, yeah, well, there were 2 successful relationships that came from this. Thomas, please don't piss me off. Now, once he said that, I took a break. Okay, Thomas, guess what? You deserve Camille. You deserve Camille. But just so you know, you're down, way, way, way down on the swaggometer after that comment. Okay? Or as we used to say back in the day, you lost some cool points with me. Because I was like, what is happening? And then they had enough nerve to serve tacos. I said, ooh, child, they know they pissing me off. Let's move on. So they show a small clip of her going dress shopping with the man in the background. Sir, I know this is a commitment ceremony or y'all need to be committed ceremony. I don't know what it is, but why are you present? Let her do something by herself. She ain't gonna go nowhere. Just go home and sit still and she'll be right back. Over on the other side, Thomas goes over to Juan's place. Now, according to Juan, it's going to be a year in December for the relationship with he and his girl. And I'm like, so you pulled an MM a year already? And this is just 13 months after decision day? Let me find out you was dating that woman at the same time you were over there telling Carla no with all her sound bowls and whatnot. Now, correction. It's a guy's night at Juan's place. And they even let Ikechi join in their little reindeer games. Ikechi, you've been accepted. Congratulations. So the men are all sitting there talking and Ikechi is telling them that he's taking, a hiatus from dating. And Alan comes in talking to Ikechi. Now, Alan, please be quiet. Just lying, talking about, man, you did put in the work. You just say any old thing. That's how you got. Sit back and observe. You don't always have to say something. I think Alan has a problem with people pleasing. There was no reason for you to lie to this man and tell him he put in work. He didn't put in no work at all. He worked on running away. Now, David is also coming. They want to know how it feels to be in the same room with David. Like, are you cool? Now, Alan claims that he's cool and Madison handled it well with the exception of a few things that she did. But I see he hightailed it out of there before Mr. Ponytail arrived. I said, I see you. I see you. So then David arrives shortly thereafter. Juan brings up the commitment ceremony. And Ikechi said, I had no idea. But guess what? I visited a divorce attorney. Child, petty. So they're talking about how, they would love it if MM was happy, but they just want to make sure that the guy is not using her because even they are side-eyeing his intentions. Now, I'll accept David. Here he goes talking about, when you know, you would feel that way. You would feel that way. Over on the other side of Chicago, all the ladies meet up to make candles. So they each come in. They're talking about what they named their candles and why. I was wondering at this moment, are they forced to film? Like, do you have to completely finish it out? I was really wondering that because I can just not see myself putting myself in certain situations. So when I saw them all together, I was just like, say what now? But anywho, I'm also wondering why MM is having a commitment ceremony and why Pastor Calvin has agreed to do this, knowing dang on well that she's still technically married. Why are y'all playing make-believe? Tell Brandon to leave y'all alone. Don't answer no emails, no text messages, smoke signals, nothing. Also, is Carla always in charge of the girls' night out with her sound bowls in tow? Baby, Carla gonna get them to hum if she don't do nothing else. So they're each saying what they want to release because Carla's going to make sure that the energy is right. Madison says she wants to release resentment and she wants to have empathy for Michelle because she feels bad for her. Ma'am, leave that lady alone. MM and Brandon. So Pastor Cal went to make a house visit because he got to see face to face the foolishness. What is really going on? And I thought he was going to take off his glasses, but he didn't. He says to MM, I can see that you're glowing. She said, okay, yeah, I'm glowing, but not in that way. But hopefully soon. Brandon said, but we have been practicing. Pastor Cal said, okay, that's too much information. And right when he said that, I knew that he did not like or trust Brandon. Now, if you have been watching Married at First Sight since the beginning, you know that Pastor Cal is the first person to ask about the sexuals. So much so, I've always been like, Pastor Cal, there is more to it than the sex. Like, why do you keep asking about that? Like, what is going on? But with him, he was just like, yeah, no, thank you. So Pastor Cal went straight into it. He said, how are you sure? Okay, how are you sure that this is not love bombing? Now, that's the questions that need answers. So then, of course, MM had some answer because he shows me every day. He loves me. He waters the plants and all this other kind of stuff, child. We don't give a damn. So then he asked Brandon if he has freed himself from his past. He said, yeah, as soon as I file for divorce. Sure. I want to hear from that ex-wife. I'm sorry, MM. I hope that you have heard from that ex-wife. Trust me. You need to get the man facts. Do not just go based on what they tell you. Always double check. So Pastor Cal wanted to know about them integrating into each other's families. We find out that both of their fathers have passed. And he was telling this story about how his father unalived himself after they had just reconnected once he became a firefighter. And I just want to say my condolences to you. I really do. Pastor Cal wants to make sure that they aren't trauma bonding. Now, Pastor Calvin, I know you've been hearing that around the place, but they are not trauma bonding. They are bonding over trauma. Those are two different things. The definition of a trauma bond is to bond with your abuser. So unless he's treating her a kind of way that we don't know, they're not trauma bonding. And people have just started to take that and run with it and not hop on the Googler. Baby, no. They're not trauma bonding. They're bonding over trauma. Moving forward. I am loving all of these questions that Pastor Calvin is asking, but then in the end, he gonna still do it anyway. So what is really the point? Now, I'm still not sold on Brandon or any of the answers that he gave because it gives used car salesman. I just don't trust it. Now, it may still be the honeymoon phase for them. And I feel like he's just showing his representative. And I don't know. I feel like the answers were so obvious with a little chat GPT codedness in there. I just didn't trust nothing about it. Now, I'm trying so hard. I really am to be open-minded. But I just feel like MM is not seeing the forest for the trees. He seems very inauthentic to me. But at the end of the day, they're grown. I guess it's the same premise, just a different man. David and Madison. The families come together. His mom said that Madison is the one. Ma'am, you say that to everybody. You're just happy he's out of the basement so you can wash your clothes in peace. They're there. They're playing. And all of a sudden she blurts out, they're shooting pool. She blurts out, oh yeah, Dad. And guess what? We live together now. Girl, why don't you pull him to the side and say something? This is giving scripted. Y'all getting on my nerves. Dad still has reservations, but he says, when you know, you know. At this point, David's cover-up tattoo should have been, when you know, you know. He likes David for his daughter, so let's move on. Thomas and Camille. So they're talking about how things are going between the two of them. He came in with flowers and a setup for s'mores. She didn't even give him a kiss after he gave her the flowers. I said, ugh. Lord have mercy. And then it was her favorite color, which is yellow. Thomas is so thoughtful. But y'all, he over there with Camille and whatnot. I mean, I really wasn't interested in what they were talking about. I wish them the best. They were talking about having babies and all this other kind of stuff. And I hope that Thomas finds the passion. Ikechi. So Ikechi is calling his mom, and this is the most that we've heard from his family. I was like, where are all these people when you were filming? He's telling her about the divorce lawyer. He's like, oh, you got any advice? Advice for what? You checked out of that marriage episode 4. There's nothing that you guys need to do besides sign papers. Now all of a sudden you want advice about a divorce, but you showed up to make a fool out of yourself down to that couples retreat with one piece of paper. That just shows you wanted to make a scene. Now that you have to go through an attorney, you're confused. And I think that's a fool, because the show should handle that, right or wrong. Then he starts telling her about how all the guys had come to, his art thing, and he thought that they really didn't like him. But now he sees that they are cool, and they're starting to accept him. Now, he did say what happened to him in his marriage. He's not going to let that hinder him from finding new love. Now, I heard him say that he feels closer to the guys, and I'm wondering where the friends are that were at the wedding. Where are those men at? Because he had a whole group of friends. I don't know, child. He playing a character too. In the next scene is the day of this commitment ceremony. Why can't this man just wait? It's like he's trying to trap her. As soon as he caught wind that she was on this show, he's ready to commit. And then she's like, without this show, I would have never met him. How is that possible? You told us you met him in the 5th grade. Do you know the man or nah? Child, y'all just be lying. Anywho, all the cast is in attendance minus Ikechi for obvious reasons. Brandon comes out for his 15 minutes. MM comes out. Now it's time for them to speak their speech. MM, this is just a side note. The shoes, I love them. Okay, I really do. But that's about the only thing I liked from this. Because I just don't think this is, you deserve so much more, child. And Pastor Cal, you just be doing any old thing. You be doing any old thing, child. He then gives his own few words. And I'm not sure that he's completely sold on Brandon and MM, but he's collecting that check. So Pastor Cal now pronounces them needing to be committed. No, I'm just kidding. He pronounces them MM and Brandon, child. Now he got equal rights to that damn air fryer. Baby, these two are so desperate, child. This is crazy. This is 5 minutes that I can't get back. And why does MM always act like she never wants to kiss the man? And I think that she's looking for the same passionate love that Thomas is looking for. So they get done with the ceremony or whatever, and they're in this little area. I didn't see any food, so I can't call it a reception. It was just a stand around. So at the stand around, Michelle pulls David to the side. I said, oh, what's going on now? So she tells him that she sees how she treated him and he didn't deserve that. And so she wants to apologize to him. Now, I personally feel like that was extremely big of Michelle. And I hope that it helps all of the Michelle haters to think of her in a little bit of a different light. Now, I hear a lot of people comparing her to Alyssa. That woman was totally different. And she never once thought that she did anything wrong to Chris. They are not the same. They have similar qualities, but she did not even come to the realization that she did anything wrong. She just wanted to stay at the shared apartment and be on the show and hang out with the girls. So it finally has come to an end, and everybody has their person. Michelle has grown. Alan has found love again. Thomas has found his swag. Brandon has a place to stay, and Carla has her sound bowls. She also has a place to stay. As for Ikechi, he's somewhere wearing his beanie and his backpack and probably frowning up at this episode of this silly ceremony with a blank stare. And that was the end of the season. Listen, it has been an honor and a pleasure to review Married at First Sight for these past seasons, but I think this is where I get off at the next stop. I think this is it for me and Married at First Sight. I have really appreciated reviewing the show from seasons 12 through 18, and yeah, it's moving on, and so am I. Y'all comment down below. Tell me exactly what you thought about this season. Meet me on Thursday night. I am going to wrap this up so we can just discuss what we saw on the Where Are They Now, because for the past 2 episodes, I did not do my live, and I don't want to leave y'all hanging, so we're going to wrap this thing up. I promise to be in attendance. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.